No, I'm just messing with you. Hello, everyone. It's Friday. It's live stream. Hopefully, we have a sound now. Now you can mess with me and tell me that there is no sound again. But I did check. It's coming up. I've listened to it. I tested twice. Hope everyone is well. We're going to talk about lenses today. We are going to talk about lenses because this conversation started last week. I asked you what things do you want to talk about, and this conversation started with David Jenkins. Thank you very much for reaching out. And he said, let's talk about what lenses Nikon should release. And we kind of cover it on every live stream. Every now and then this question comes up: what should be there, what shouldn't be there. But I thought maybe we can expand a little bit on this. And what I want from you is several things. I want to know what are the legendary Nikon lenses that everyone should try, no matter what, once in their lifetime. What are your current favorites from Nikon lineup? Any lens from, let's say, pre-I to latest that stuff. But also, what do you think Nikon should release next? What lenses we should see in a Nikon Z lineup? Where are the gaps? What else do we need to do? The Koffee fund is open. I want to thank everyone who sent me some stuff last week and on PayPal and through the channel. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, let's grab a coffee and let's discuss discuss lenses, really. Hello, John. Hello, Roy. Just scrolling down the chat, really. So Rick is here. Hello, Rick. Photograph. That's, I think you are the new person here. So welcome to the chat. Hopefully we'll see you again and again. J. Road Photo Art, Paul P, George Garvin, Andy Hater, Craig C, Richard Hovland. Thanks so much, everyone. Colin, Stuart, yes. So Z8 update. I think we might get some at the end of next week, Stuart. So yours would be in there, so probably around Thursday, Friday next week. Just a quick update while I'm here. Hello, Edward, Ray, people from all over the world. Mookie MC, as usual, let me know where you're watching this from, especially if you're watching after the fact. I want to see how big and wide our audience is. In the meantime, what I can tell you is we have a Nikon owner promotion. So some of you know that Becky did the macro course for Nikon owner subscribers. So that course has been recorded, and it should be out on DVD and VHS in your local Walmart and possibly a Blockbuster if you still have one left. But it's also available online for Nikon owner subscribers. So you can buy it from nikonownershop.com. You can go there. Subscribers receive £20 of that price. So if you are a subscriber already and you want to buy that course, you can get in touch with info at Nikon Owner Magazine for the discount code. But if you haven't subscribed, you can actually subscribe and buy the course by using discount code Friday Live. So you can do that. See Becky talking about macro photography. I know that no macro course by Becky is good without me, because obviously I add a lot to that conversation. At least I know the colors of the flowers, you know. So, but yeah, if you want to do that, definitely, you know, you can do that via the links. It should be in the description, but I can also put in the chat if you need it. So let's have a look. Let's see at your comments. Let's talk about lenses a little bit. So let's start with John Hughes. He said, what's my dream lens if it's not the lens I left at home? I must say that I'm in great place and I have all Z glass I need. Maybe 24 PCE for Z mounts under £4,000 would be good. I think that PCE lenses are definitely, you know, should be in the Nikon's to-do list. And I think £4,000, under £4,000, 24 PC, it's possible. Well, I think brand new PC 24 was about, I think, £1,600-1,700 back in the day, so before the whole inflation. We know that inflation has shot up in last year. So so I think there's still a possibility. I think, yeah, maybe between 3 and 4, maybe 2,999, who knows, but I think it's quite possible. Again, if you think that PC lenses should be the next on Nikon list, do let me know in the comments below. Roy Bixby says, I'd like an ultra-wide zoom lenses like Canon's 10-20 full frame. Yep. Could be good. Well, our conversation with David was actually about wide-angle lenses. So he thinks that there's not enough wide-angle lenses in Nikon lineup, and I tend to agree because these obviously 14-30 and 14-24 zoom lenses. But if you're looking at the primes, obviously there's only 20mm 1.8, and there's nothing wider than that. And you know, something like 14mm prime that Nikon had for f mounts, so would be quite interesting. 14, 15, obviously there are third-party manufacturers like Voigtlander has 15mm. These companies like TT-Artisan and Viltrox, so do those. But obviously, a lot of people are waiting for Nikon lens by Nikon, let's say that, and that would be quite useful. So definitely let me know in the comments which wide-angle primes would you like to see, or even zoom, like let's say 17-35 2.8 AFS was one of those classic journalist lenses back in the day. I remember when I was in New York back in 2004, and I bought my first Nikon F100, that was my first Nikon camera. A friend of mine, he bought 1735 2.8, and obviously it was over $1,000 at the time. It was very expensive, but for him it was that kind of journalist lens to cover. I think he used to cover protests and things like this back in the day. So that was the lens for him. So obviously Nikon had 16-35 VR f4 for f mounts, which was optically superior to 1735, but I understand the need for 2.8 for some people. Obviously, vibration reduction would add several stops of stabilization, so that would be useful. But some people just need depth of field at 2.8, so who knows? All right, let's see. Let's move on to other questions. So Rick says he's just got FM3A looking at Zeiss 35mm f2 lens and Voigtlander Ultron 40mm. So I have 40mm Ultron, and I like it. I haven't tried Zeiss, so I can't really compare the two, but I can tell you that 40 Ultron is amazing for f-mount. 28 is fantastic. They do 58 as well, which is a beautiful character lens with fantastic rendition as well as flare, just so beautiful on that lens. They do 55 1.2, which was released, I think, about 1 to 2 years ago, and it's a little bit optically, it's superior optically, it's much sharper, but my heart kind of is more leans towards 58 lens. And there's a 90mm 2.8 as well for Nikon F mounts. This one is also good. It's quite compact for the portrait lens, so which is really good. So the options are yours, but Zeiss, I wouldn't just discount Zeiss straight away. If you can try it out and compare, definitely do that. But my next one, I'm still deciding if I'm going to get 28 for f mount or 58 for f mount Voigtlander lens. Both are really, really good. Speaking of small lenses, this is kind of my dream lens. So I'm going to show you this lens. It's a Voigtlander 35 1.4. Yeah, so if I can take it off, who knows? It decided not to work. So this is a Nikon Z 35 1.4, recently released. And this is Voigtlander 35 1.4. Obviously, I wouldn't compare them optically. I think obviously Nikon one's going to be superior, but I'm talking about the size here. So this one's got filter, this one's got lens cap, but I can remove them and you can see how tiny both lenses are. So for me, it would be my dream lenses for Nikon Z mount would be something like this, small and light, that I can put on my Nikon ZF and use. And I don't really need those focus, but this is 40mm from Nikon. It's pretty good. It's small. So if let's say if you can't achieve this and we want to have autofocus, we need more lenses like this. So that's my personal kind of thing. Thanks everyone who got in touch with me with regards to updating TechArt autofocus adapter, which adapts Leica lenses, Leica mount lenses for Z mounts. Still struggling with it. Even tried to connect it to old computer. Still didn't work. So my thinking is that this lens cap that is actually that you connect the cable to, and that should update the adapter. It could be faulty. I don't know. I'm going to reach out to TechArt, see what happens. But I tried all sorts of different cables, all sorts of computers, from Windows to Macs, etc. So it doesn't seem to work for me. So something's clearly wrong there. But once updated, it should autofocus this lens on cameras like ZF and Z9 and Z6 III, I assume, because all other cameras like this Nikon Z6 Gen 1 works totally fine in focusing this camera. I think it just needs a firmware update. So, but those kind of my hopes are, and you know, obviously with Voigtlander releasing Z-mount lenses, they tend to be quite large as well. So I personally prefer something like this for kind of my trail street photography. And obviously on Nikon ZF, the vintage retro looking camera from Nikon, it's gonna look amazing. So that's kind of what I would like to see. Let's have a look. So Rick is also looking at 28 1.4D, which is a legendary classic lens, very rare, used to be quite expensive. I'm not sure what the prices are on it now, but I can tell you that 28 1.4E, well, won't work obviously on your FM3A, but it will work on digital SLRs, and this is optically superior lens, you know, and yeah, it's fantastic lens overall, but 28-1.4 is legendary for reason being quite small quantities were produced, so it's a highly collectible item. So have a look at that. I'm not sure if they're cheaper now or not, but it would be interesting to see. Hello, Jake OB. Good to see you as well. Photograaph is off to work. All right, well, come and see us after the fact. You know, we will be available on demand. Let's see. Paul P is saying, hi all, I'm staying with F-mount for now, so portraits with Sigma 85 1.4 and 135 1.8 art are pretty good for bokeh. Absolutely agree. As I was ranting the last couple of times, I think Sigma should really release more lenses for Z-mount, native lenses, because they release DX lenses. DX, as all you know, is not Nikon's main market, at least according to their releases. So my worry is that Sigma released the lenses, DX lenses, they didn't sell well, and Sigma decided, well, it seems like we don't want to release that mount lenses because they don't sell well. Well, maybe Sigma should release the lenses that we all want to buy. And in this case, I think art lenses for that mount would sell a lot better. Sigma is also famous for releasing kind of those, wide aperture lenses. Like they just released, I think, 20 to 35, 1.8 or f2, something like this. That just recently came out. And that's lens that a lot of videographers would definitely wish for and things like this. So I think Sigma should really look into full frame for Nikon Z, and then they will start to see the sales. So that's my opinion on that. Fingers crossed, hopefully later this year. Hello, Andy. Hello, Craig. So let's see. Let's see more lenses. Andy's favorite lens, which he unfortunately no longer has, is Tamron 105 2.5 Adaptomatic for Nikon F2. So I've never tried this lens, so I assume it's probably very, very interesting. It has lots of characters. So the Nikon 105 2.5 is also a legendary lens. If you can get your hands on AI or AIS type, or even pre-AI, if it's been AI, like let's say I have the one with a scallop ring, but design is more or less the same on that. It's a beautiful lens. It's a beautiful character lens. Again, old lenses, they won't compete in terms of optical quality. Obviously, the coatings are not as modern, but it gives you the feel and vibes of this kind of old vintage lenses, So if you like your photograph to be, to have that vibe and mood, then definitely this is the lens I would recommend you to try. For me personally, I would recommend it. As a lot of people say, it's the lens that was used to take a portrait, Afghan girl portrait. So that's a lot of people it's famous for. But overall, again, just I would say try it out if you can. It's a really, really interesting lens from Nikon. All right, so let's see. I'm catching up with the chart. I'm gonna have a sip as well. People were speculating, people will turn on my mic this week. Well, you see, what happened was, I'm going to tell you. We had cutoff, right? Audio cutoffs for last 4 or 5 weeks, right? So what I did is I bought a new XLR cable. So that what happened. So I plugged it in and it didn't work. Did I decide to test before the live stream? No, because I literally came in 2 minutes before because I was with a customer in the shop. So that what happened. And obviously I should have read the chart, but I was so excited to see you all and just start from the beginning of it and read your comments that obviously thank you all who screamed in the chat, who called the shop and let me know. So that was fun. It's, as I say, it's even 5 years later, someone is going to leave a comment that there's no sound under this live stream. So trust me, that's going to be probably equal to the coffee spiel, the legendary coffee spiel at the beginning of my YouTube career about 5 years ago. So here we go. Let's have a look. Let's go through the chat. Let's see what you guys saying. People discussing focusing manual focus lenses with autofocus adapter. Good cover, isn't it? You like the cover? I enjoy the cover, you know, so why not? You know, so let's paint our dream lens together, as I would say. So I would love to paint like Bob Ross. You know, I found his video, I never painted, but I found his video very soothing, you know, so so it's good after a very long, stressful day. Can tell you that. All right. Watch this very interesting documentary as well on him, so have a look at that. It's, yeah, the end is not very nice, but, you know, it is what it is. I want to see more suggestions. So Randall is saying wide zooms are needed, something like from 8mm to 35. Well, I think that one is going to be quite difficult, but something like 8, like as I say, like 10 to 20 or 8 to, let's say, maybe 24, something like this. I think that would be quite good. And Nikon release lenses that first in its class, so why not? We can potentially see something from them, but if there's a need, obviously we're now starting to see those wide angle, ultra wide angle, rectangle primes. You know, from what's this Korean company? It will come back to me. So yeah, but yeah, we're starting to see those. Those are really good. Why not also to have a fisheye? You know, for Z mount. That could be a fun lens as well. Again, a very niche. You know, not everyone will buy it, but you know, like those 16mm fisheye or 8 to 15mm, I think, for f-mount, we're selling fairly well for this type of lens, of course. Let's go further. 1H, so 800mm and 1H 600mm are GA Road Photo Art's most used lenses. He loves them. But also says a 105 micro lens is incredible. Hello, Per from Sweden. No problem, Stuart, my pleasure. TCM says Nikon lenses everyone must try. Currently in his rotation, 105 macro, rangefinder 5cm f2 lens, and Sona Formula 105 2.5. Those are very good recommendations. You can mount those rangefinder lenses on Z mount. We did. You just need to find the right adapter, but it is a possibility as well. Obviously, they're not going to perform as well, but you know, they are pretty fun lenses. I think we had like 135 for, you know, Nikon S basically system, and it does the job. It gives you this very interesting rendering, I would say. Ron says that we are due Z9 updates. Not sure, don't have any information on that. I've before the stream, I've looked at the rumor website, see what's new. There's like literally nothing new in the last 2 weeks, you know. So that's that. So I guess, I don't know. Are we going to see? Do you think we're going to see new announcements? I mean, we are in August, so we're going to be in August soon. So we've got August, September. Normally, that's the time for more announcements from all the camera companies, and then by around October, we kind of all go into this kind of pre-Christmas sales mode where Nikon starts their winter savings and things like this. But in terms of announcements, you normally kind of finish around, let's say, yeah, early October, and then we're back probably around January. But, you know, who knows? Maybe Nikon is going to announce something after as well. Let's have a look. I have water. I need to get my coffee going as well. So let me open that up as well. So Neeler says, if they updated 58 1.4 f mount lens for Z, I would go take my money. Yeah. I mean, My thinking about all this is that those f-mount lenses are beautiful, and 58 1.4 lens, it's not famous for its sharpness, but it's famous for its character. Overall, as I think we discussed last week on the live stream, I think if you're looking for those special lenses for Nikon F mounts, then definitely get 58-1.4. The prices are very nice. Like they really, I would say, you know, compared to what they used to be, they're much lower now. 105 1.4e, 58 1.4G, 28 1.4e, all are incredible lenses. Even 35 1.4G is a pretty good lens. Again, not the sharpest among all 35s, but definitely has that beautiful rendering. Pete says Nikon Rumors has an article regarding the number of f-mount lenses being discontinued. And discounted, actually. Yes, you're right. So they quoting something like up to $5,000. No information on this. I can tell you that much. So from what's happening, let's say, within the next couple of weeks in Europe, there's nothing like this there. But who knows? Maybe Nikon will surprise us. So could be something in the United States. But as we discussed before, Nikon has different regions, and Europe is generally, and UK is one region, USA is a different, and Asia as well is a different region. So they all will run different promotions with the different discounts and amounts as well. So that's that. Philip is asking, any idea how long Z9 takes to arrive when you ordered? What takes to arrive with you ordered 1 year? Sorry, Philip, I don't understand your question. If you order one now, the wait is not very long, I can tell you this. So let's see. Michael Reese says, just got my 105 2.8 macro G lens. So that's for F mount from Grace. Loving it. Thank you very much. He's using it with his D780, also from Grace, both secondhand. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Michael. We appreciate your business. I can tell you that. Buying secondhand, especially F mount now, it's fantastic because you're getting a lot of performance for money. That's the thing. Obviously, if you paying, you know, if you're buying latest and greatest, it's nice, but you will pay premium because it's new and it is now. If you're looking at secondhand, you can definitely save quite a bit and get a lot of, you know, a lot of performance and value for money, really, you know. So it's good. So for some of us who can survive that temptation of, you know, of buying everything latest and greatest, I think it's a fantastic way to do that. As I say, like F-mount lenses are still amazing on Z-mount cameras, you know. So Velotrox 56mm 1.7 lens. What's our thoughts on it? For the money, it's really good. I can tell you that much. So it's not going to compete with the Nikon, let's say 56. I think it's a DX lens, if I'm not mistaken. So like, it won't compete with Nikon 85, but, you know, equivalent or anything, or 51.8. But again, for the money, it's great. Metal mount. And USB, no, metal mount. I haven't used one for a while. I think it was a couple. Yeah, I think it was about $160. So for the money, it's definitely worth considering. You got autofocus as well, which is really good. Okay, so let's see. Let's scroll up. So Ian White, Nikon 1635 f4 for something else like Nikon 8531 1.4G, used for D810 for landscape. 1635 is a better lens than 1835. However, 1835 is a nice compact lens. So if you prefer kind of travel, more compact setup, then 1835 is really good, but 1635 will give you that optics upgrade, I would say, you know. So it's pretty much on par with 1424 2.8. I mean, 1424 is still better, but it's big and chunky. Deborah is saying that she would still like to see a 200mm macro lens for that line. I absolutely agree with you, Deborah. I think Nikon should revisit 200 because the last 200 micro we had was a D lens. So it wasn't even AFS type. It wasn't G mount, G type. So yeah, definitely. I think it's there's definitely quite a few people waiting for one, especially if you're photographing insects and things like this. That would be very useful. And obviously, hopefully they'll put a nice focusing motor in it that will focus fast and will pick up macro things fairly quick, but also vibration reduction. that would be useful, because those dragonflies, they moving really fast. So that's that. So a massive dragonfly in Kew Gardens on Sunday last week. It's probably the biggest dragonfly I ever saw. So so that was fun. Kew Gardens is always lovely at this time of the year. Let's see what's next. Well, Larry says 200 millimeter lens would be nice, but I doubt I would want to pay what it would cost. Yeah, you know, I think the price would be up there. Yeah, probably between 1,500 and 2,000 pounds. That's my guess. But that's the thing. Everything is a lot more expensive nowadays. That's the thing. And that's why, yeah, you pay premium. Unfortunately, for 200 mm lens, the problem is, if you want 200 mm now, you really have to go for F-mount version, and those are still keeping their price because they, you know, they haven't released the FS version. They didn't release the G-type lens for that. So on Z camera, it would be manual focus only. Again, for macro photography, you may not need autofocus and things like this. So that's, I guess it's not going to be a problem at all. But I guess as soon as that mount lens comes out, those maybe F-mount lenses would go down in price as well. So hopefully you can get a bargain. All right, let's see what's next. Jay Blue is saying, what I would like to have from Nikon is Z16mm S lens, and I have the Viewertrox, but has too much vignetting for my taste. I agree. I mean, the good thing about Viewertrox is the price, of course. Vignetting overall, it's correctable, so that's the good news. But yes, definitely Nikon probably would release one with less vignetting and probably double the price. But again, I think we need one, something between 14 and 16 mil range, you know, so 14, 15, 16, whatever they can release. Craig C says, also would like a native tilt and shift macro lens, but it's kind of a niche. A few nice of third-party options. Yeah, there's quite a few there available. We even tested the 100 macro, I think TTR and shift lens or tilt, one of those. So that was fun. But I think GFX, Fuji released the tilt shift lenses for GFX. So that's good news. So hopefully that's a sign that Nikon may follow as well. Stuart is asking me a very interesting question. Con, what would you estimate the cost to a manufacturer to produce any brand new lenses to the marketplace? I don't know, Stuart. I'm afraid I've never been to manufacturing myself, so I don't really know what goes. I mean, what a lot of people forget is the research and development. You know, that costs a lot of money. The cameras don't just show up like this. They need to test it, they need to design it. The good news is obviously they are based on, let's say, previous models, so they modify those things, but still research and development is a huge thing. It's not just manufacturing costs, because manufacturing costs could be a lot smaller than the price, but it's the research and development. You know, we as a consumer forget about this. You know, someone has to come up with something. I assume that the costs have lowered because a lot of lenses are now being designed on the computer. Yeah, CAD software, you know, things like this. So overall, you go through a lot less prototypes because you can effectively simulate how the lens will perform in the software nowadays. So that's, I think, kind of definitely cut costs on that. But they still obviously they have to come up with something. They have to develop sensors. They have to, you know, develop the hardware, etc., etc. So unfortunately, it's not like a PC where you buy things off the shelf, you stick them together, and it just works, you know. So that's the thing. But yeah, I wish I would have that knowledge, because that's an incredible thing. Again, in my kind of tinkering brain, I always thinking like, ooh, what if someone would design this piece of accessory that no one ever thought of? And then I'm thinking, but then if I want to mass produce it, how much does it cost? And I never went there. So, you know, but I wish someone would publish this. I can tell you that. But as you can see, that you know, if you look at the Chinese manufacturers' releases, the like Viewertrox lenses costing $150, which is incredible value for money. I don't think they're optically up to scratch with Nikon releases, but Nikon release would be 2 to 5 times the price. So, you know, you can't really compare the two. What's important is they fill in different gaps on the market, and they provide the choice for photographers, which is quite important. All right, so let's go further to more questions. If you haven't given this live stream a like, well, this is the right time to do that. There's a thumbs up or thumbs down button under this video. So, you know, it would be greatly appreciated if you'd hit one of those. Even if you don't like it, that's fine. That's fine. What it does is it basically pushes the video further out. That's why a lot of videos have been controversial for that specific reason, because the more you comment, the more you like it, it spreads everywhere. That's how things go viral. But we're not doing those things, but any like is appreciated. Any subscribe is appreciated. You know, have to do this, because if I don't do this, then nothing happens. You know, that's just part of being a YouTuber, unfortunately. All right. Going further, let's see if I missed anyone. And if I missed you, then I'm sorry. They work as Z2, Z9 Mark II surely will be released over a year, unless they do bring a high-speed version. Who knows? Who knows? We're going to talk lenses, but as soon as anything comes out, any rumors, I'm sure we can discuss that. Craig had one 180mm lens. He says legendary workhorse for me back in the day. Is that the 180 autofocus or manual focus? No, they didn't have autofocus one, did they? I definitely remember there was a manual focus 2.8. All right. Svaraj is saying that his dream lens already exists. He's been using it for more than 30 years, and it's a 55 macro f2.8 macro Nikon lens. I used it even on Nikon FZ, ZF, I assume. It performs better than any other 105 macro. Well, wouldn't go that far, but 55 is definitely a legendary lens, and I absolutely agree with you. A lot of people overlook this one, but because you don't really need autofocus performance for this type of lenses, it's fantastic. Definitely. I had this lens, I think I went to 62.8D, then I had the G version. All of those were, I would say, minor updates. They weren't massive updates, one over another one. But if you do this type of photography with 60, obviously you have to be really close to the subject. So a lot of it's a lot of those lenses being used for studio work. But I absolutely agree with you. It's a fantastic choice, and it's fantastic to have lenses that you're happy with, which means you don't have that itch to buy something new, if you see what I mean. So it's admirable. I would definitely say that. 28mm f2 S-line lens, RH Adventure says, yeah, I think 28 1.8, right? So that's what we need, because we have 24 1.8, we have 35 1.8. So 28 1.8S, the same size as this, would be quite interesting to have. 180 AFD, Roy says, yeah, so that's autofocus one would be, yes. Paul P said that secondhand 200 f2 and 300 2.8 AFS lenses were a good buy for sports and low light. They're still a good buy because they're big savings. Those long lenses, if you buy them secondhand, it's definitely a huge saving of what currently is available from Nikon. It's just yet, obviously, those long telephoto prime lenses can get really expensive. Fel M says he would like a high quality pancake compact lenses for my ZF. Well, from Nikon, we're going to have 28 of 2.8 and 40 f2. I think that's the way the Nikon goes. I think anything that is S-type lens would be that big. That's kind of the feeling I have about this, but I see what you mean. But those guys, the 40 and 28, have really good value for money, first of all, and really good performance. Obviously, there's 26. But if you're looking at that 26 2.8 probably would be your answer if you like that focal distance. You know, if you need something wide, that's your high quality lens. So because it does perform better than 28 in my opinion. But I do like my 28 though. I'm definitely a 28 guy on this. Michael Browner says that he thinks the 24-70 f4 is a very underrated lens, and a 10-20 mil zoom, I assume, would be welcome. 24-70 f4 is the best kit zoom ever produced, which I would call like a kit zoom, you know. So because this 24-120 package with Z8, I wouldn't call 24-120 f4 a kit lens. You know, it's really kind of a professional package. But 24-70 f4 is amazing for what it is. I had it till about last year, where I upgraded to 24-70 2.8, and even then I miss my f4 lens just because it's so small and light, and when we film things for YouTube channel, then we definitely, you know, sometimes we have to carry a lot of gear. So sometimes I just wish I would have the f4 version, just because we don't really need to film both of us at 2.8, you know, the depth of field. So, you know, we would stick it down to something like 5.6 anyway, or f8. So overall, I think, yeah, if you looking at good range, cheap lens, the 24-70 f4 is very cheap secondhand compared to the new price. Definitely recommend that. It's a fantastic mid-range zoom for Nikon Z mount. So Moldenite says FTZ adapter with a screw drive motor ever happened? No, and I think I will die on that hill. I wish, like, yeah, I think Nikon should really, you know, just kind of, yeah, like a nod, more like, you know, saying thank you to all of us who stuck with Nikon for years, you know. So that's the thing. I think it's more PR thing than a reputational thing, I would say, than you know, point of selling it really. I mean, I feel like it's going to be expensive, you know, if they would ever release it, but I think they should. I think they should. We discussed all this. Obviously, there's definitely limitations, because it's not even that autofocus adapter that we have from third parties. It's a slow focusing thing, and it will hunt. And I assume that the reason why Nikon is not looking at it is because it won't perform to the level that Nikon would want it to perform, if you see what I mean. So that's my thinking. But I personally agree with you. I wish Nikon would release one of those. So lots of kind of support for the 10-20 zoom for full frame cameras. So I think that's what according to a lot of you, Nikon should release next. So, you know, very interesting. If you want to see other lenses for Nikon Z mount, definitely let me know in the comments below. And I'm still catching up with the chat. Let's see what everyone is saying here. Crexy wants 200 f2 and 135 1.8. Okay. So sorry, that was a question. But actually, 200 f2 prime, that's another thing for that mount would be useful. The 200 f2G lens, again, is a beautiful lens. A lot of guys are shooting portraits on those nowadays. If you check YouTube, I mean, it's great for portraits. It gives you this beautiful separation, but obviously originally was designed for kind of indoor sports, you know. But again, superb lens can be had reasonably inexpensively nowadays. Let's go further. Tony Hedges says he just got 14-24 2.8 G lens for his D10. Such a great lens, even at 24 and is wide. I agree. That was my kind of, I had 14-24, 24-70 as my kind of shooting kit with the 850. I still keep my 14-24 since I don't have a native Z mount, a wide angle. I have Z20 40-70 2.8. I don't really need a longer lens right now, so I sold my 70-200. I don't really shoot that range for my commercial work. So, and I use primes for other things. So yeah, but that 14-24 is legendary. Absolutely, it's legendary for a reason, I would say. Big and heavy though. Obviously, this big front element. A lot of people, when it's first released, a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm really going to be worried scratching it." I mean, it's been out for what, 10, 15 years? I think I've seen a scratch on it once. You know, that's it. So overall, you know, it seems to be a very, very tough class. Paul P is asking news on red video codecs for Z8 and Z9 and Z6 III. Nikon Rumors published an article saying that Nikon is looking forward implementing red sec into a Z cameras. I don't know how this news, because we kind of assume that's the reason why you're buying a company. But again, it's going to be ready when it's going to be ready. From what I heard, that Red team was very excited about Nikon acquiring Red, and their engineers were looking forward to tinker with Nikon tech and see how can they implement it. So obviously, what we need to remember that a part of all the corporate things and things, there's a lot of people who work for both companies, Nikon and Red, that are actually true keen enthusiasts, engineers, designers, techies, you know, so who like to tinker with new things. And I think a lot of those interesting developments going to come out soon. But as kind of the overall industry notion is that it's probably going to take a year before we're going to start to see things, but who knows? Who knows? That's the thing. I'm definitely looking forward to a proper video line of cameras from Nikon as well. When that going to happen? Will it happen this year? That's an interesting one. Who knows? So David Moscora is in the chat. He says, gonna live on a fishing boat for a week in Alaska at the end of the month. Wow, that's cool. Can't decide between D850 or ZF. 28 Ti will come for sure. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think ZF is just because it's small and lighter more than anything else. But, you know, D850, that 45 megapixel, you know, for some beautiful Alaskan landscapes, you know. That could be fun. What's the weather like in Alaska around this time of the year? Like, I know it's normally cold, but I don't know what it is in August. So is it snowing? Is it not? Let me know in the comments below. Andy suggests the 55 2.8s are the GOATs, and he's got 2 of them, so greatest of all time. There's a discussion on Shimoda bags. I can't really contribute to that one. Don't have experience with that, but it's, you know, always looking forward to trying new things. That's for sure. So, okay, thank you, Rick. I appreciate for the like. 35 1.2 being recommended. Yes, it's the last lens on the Nikon Z roadmap. So we are looking forward to. Obviously, there's 35 1.4 that no one expected. So who knows? Who knows? The question is, yes, is that a 1.2 lens? Is that what 1.2 became? Hopefully not. Hopefully we will see actually a true special 35 1.2. Let's go further. Thank you very much, Kirill. He says, should we expect a new ZFC or Z50? We all need a small second camera. That's my hope. That's my hope. That's why we have August, September, October. It's a perfect time to release those cameras. I think, you know, I think Z50, I don't know about ZFC because ZFC came out later. But definitely Z50 Mark II is definitely due. I think we need one. We need one, and we need the vibration reduction on the sensor on those cameras. And, you know, I don't know. I'm going to cry if I see another 20 megapixel sensor on DX camera. You know, it's, I mean, Nikon loves that stuff, but I really feel like, come on, let's, you know, or do a new version of it with a, you know, new performance. Let's not use the same tech that we used on D500, you know, so that's the thing. I mean, it's a great sensor, no doubt. Takes over exposure really well, which I like. But yeah, I think the time, you know, has moved on, you know, but, you know, you never know. Any update is good. John Hughes agrees. He says that feature has been out for a very long time. Let's see. TCM's main system is Leica, but he likes having an AF camera with good weather sealing and that isn't pricey. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I think when we talked about the release of Nikon ZF, that the price was right, because if you look at Leica system, what they're offering right now, you know, obviously one is rangefinder, one is mirrorless camera, but the price of Nikon ZF is, you know, is very good compared to Leica prices, you know. Like, obviously, you can have a look at Leica M10 and M10R, then still they're going to be more expensive than brand new Nikon ZF. And, you know, that's kind of what I'm doing. I have lots of Leica lenses. Well, they're Voigtlander lenses, but for Leica mount. And I use them on my Nikon ZF with a manual focus adapter, not this one, because I have to update this one at some point. And they perform really well. That's the thing. Some guys are converting their Sonys to a slimmer sensor. I think Kalari does it. And then those Leica mount lenses will perform even better on those cameras. So I assume that if Calari can convert Nikon Z cameras, then that would be another way to try it out. So, but even without any conversion, those Leica mount lenses perform reasonably well. Again, it really depends on what you're looking at your photography. You're looking for ultimate sharpness, stick to the native glass, I would say. That's not that important for me. You know, they're sharp enough. Let's go further. Thank you very much, Vince. Appreciate it. So he says 1H400 TC, slightly lighter, if they could make it. At the other end, wide primes, one compact, one fast. Yeah, I think those are going to be good options. Yeah, 1H400 with built-in teleconverter, definitely. You know, they have 1.5 mount is really good. So yeah. If we get one of those at a late stage, that would be amazing. And yeah, wide primes, anything between 14 to 18 mil would be really, really useful, I would say. And if you can get another maybe 35 compact, well, technically we've got 40 f2. So I personally think we need like a portrait compact, you know, that's smaller than 85 1.8, you know. Make it, I don't know, 75 2.8 or something like this. Make it small. I would definitely buy one for my Nikon ZF. So I definitely... You know, I like those. I like that. I like my cameras to be small when I don't shoot commercially. All right. Well, I'm glad that I have to catch up with the chat. So that means that you guys have suggestions, you have comments, and I'm not running out of things to say. 3 o'clock, we're not buffering. That's really good. Nikas P says, I love 2 kit lenses for Z50, 16 to 50 and 50 to 50. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you, Nikas. Yeah, I think that combination is really good because it does everything. So what we need is 24-70 f4 for full frame and 7300 from Nikon to cover basically similar range on the full frame bodies. We have native mount Tamron Z lens 7300, so in the absence of Nikon lens, that would be the one to go. But you can also get FTZ and F mount 7300 from Nikon, which is good, but not as good as Tamron, I would say. Let's see. Andy Hates says, my 18-200 on my D200 was a superb travel lens. Wish I had an F mount in that range. I got 20H300 as my travel and general use lens. Yeah, well, technically 18-200 would give you equivalent of 27-300 mil on DX. So 20H300 is the one basically. For that mount, you got 24-200, of course. Very nice travel lens, the sharpest of them all. And then you got 24-200, sorry, and then you got 28-400. It's slightly bigger, kind of does it all optically. Very good lens, but bigger and a bit more expensive than the other one. And I would say, well, it is a great all-rounder. Just because of its size, it wouldn't be everyone's choice. So I would say you have to be kind of comfortable with the size of the lens, knowing that you'll take it. But for, let's say, yeah, travel kind of holiday mom and dad lens, 24-200, in my opinion, is fantastic. And yeah, on F-mount, 2300 probably is the sharpest of all the 28-200 they released. They had 28-200D full frame. That was AF, not AFS. They did make 28-200G lens, which was plasticky lens. They had a black and silver version. It wasn't optically as good as the D version, so they had those, but the G mount is fantastic, I would say. So TCM says, yeah, I think I'm confident Nikon can do better. That's just comes down to his choice of Leica as a main system. I like ZF camera, just not leaving with the lens choices. I would say it's a different approach. Yeah, it's a different approach. Yeah, that's the thing. I wish we could get a more options in rangefinder cameras at a cheaper price. You got Pixie just released the Leica mount rangefinder. It's a French small manufacturer, but the price is about, I think, 4.5, if I'm not mistaken, 4.5. So it's a lot of money for everyone. If we can get those choices in a, let's say, £2,000 to £3,000 range, that would be amazing. Obviously, we can have a look at the secondhand Leicas, but that's not ideal. You know, that's not ideal. That's the thing. That's why I'm saying that ZF with adapted Leica lenses, you know, focusing manually, you know, it's great. It's great for what it does, you know. But that's the thing. If you're into rangefinder system, that's a different story, you know. So I do love my rangefinders, but I do like my mirrorless as well. So. Ray Bryden says, would love to see Nikon Z quality lenses, smaller and lower prices, that can be dismantled and cleaned by the user. Manual focus, of course. All DF mount lenses could be taken apart and cleaned easily. Yeah, Ray, I agree with you, but I think, again, it's something that's probably won't happen. We kind of moved on from that. So probably Voigtlander lenses would be more to that. But it would be interesting. Definitely would be interesting. As a lot of people say, well, let's say what we want digital Nikon S rangefinder. So if we release this, what mount do we release it? Is it going to be the Nikon rangefinder mount? I think it's based on Casino mount, if I'm not mistaken. Well, then you have to release new lenses for that mount, if you see what I mean. To release a Z mount lens as well, how then that mount lens is going to look on the Nikon Z rangefinder? I think they're going to look a little bit out of place on that body. So, you know, so very interesting, you know, but again, would love to see Nikon rangefinder, you know, doesn't need to be Z mount, you know, just make it digital. Let's have some lenses, let's have some adapters that we can use, and hopefully that, you know, if you can decide to go with the manual focus lens, which again, I don't think is going to happen, but that would be a cool thing to do. I like when people have different systems for everything, and I think it's good. I mean, we are all like lucky and fortunate to be in that position. You know, I have several systems and several lenses for them. But again, when people say I want this and this, we need to understand that sometimes people can only buy one system and invest in one system, because we all want different photography levels, you know, photography journey. So some people starting out even like our chaps who started in the shop here say, oh, you've got this and you worked with Z8 and things like this. And I tell them, look, we have 10 years difference between you and me in age. Trust me, you just started. I've been here for 10 years. You will go through different cameras and lenses. You will start from very entry level and kind of move your way up, you know, and upgrade. And it's amazing. But we also need to kind of understand that, yeah, like some people can only buy one system, and then it becomes a much harder choice. What do you buy? But yeah, I do love GFX, you know, medium format for this type of work. I do like rangefinder systems, you know. I do love Nikon, you know, so like, but for me, I can pick and choose what cameras I use. Again, I'm just in that, you know, kind of, in my photography journey, I kind of went to that, you know, it took me some years to get there, you know, but that's the thing. But some people don't have that choice. That's the thing. Even, let's say, if you got, like, let's say something like D850, even upgrade to Z8, there's a lot of money, you know, if you're not working commercially, you know, so it's a big saving, you know. And when your second half would ask you, how much was that camera? You know, you can't really say it's £100, you know, but it is what it is, if you see what I mean. Okay. Yeah, speaking of which, yeah, I can see Hasselblad's being mentioned with 150 megapixel backs, all sorts of things, you know, that's all cool. That's all cool. But again, very small amount of people have access to that. All right, Kirill says, Con, absolutely agree. The next Z50 needs high megapixel sensor. As beautiful as the new Leica Deluxe 8 looks, the 29 megapixel sensor is a huge turnoff for me. 29 is a lot, of course. Yeah, I agree with you on you know, on this type of sensors. But I personally think, you know, get us 24 again. You know, sweet 24 megapixel sensor. You know, give us a good low light performance. And, you know, let's just, as I said, for me, I think that the most important thing is vibration reduction in the sensor. Because that sadly will make the DX Nikon line up to compete with all other brands. Have a look at Fuji, have a look at Sony's, you know, Canons. You know, we need all that to compete with this. And again, talking about market share, the cheaper the products you have, the more share you will get, because they will sell in higher volume. You know, again, maybe not that important for you guys, true professionals who buy the latest and greatest at the most expensive from Nikon choice. But what you need to understand that all those sales will fund the development, research and development of your expensive things from Nikon. So that's what it is. Nikon Dream Lens 100 to 400 2.8. Ooh, that sounds chunky. Definitely would be cool to see though. J Blue says, Con, my favorite F lens is 43 to 86 3.5. Had one in my hands about a week ago. amazing, amazing. It's said to be Nikon's worst zoom lens ever. I love it for its dreamy quality. I use in to take photos of spring blossoms and fall color. Yeah, I agree. I actually have this lens, and I use it as kind of my lo-fi, as we would call it, lens. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got a good vibe to it. So so if you wanna, let's say, a zoom lens for your camera, and you don't expect the amazing optical performance, it's a really good lens. All right, so let's move on further. Let's see where we're at. So Kalayan wants 24 to 120 f 2.8. Okay, let's wait and see. There's a discussion between plastic and brass. Any day brass, obviously a little bit heavier, but I do like brass, I can tell you that. Chris Walford is still waiting for his 300 2.8. Again, yeah, Nikon deliberately chose to go with 4, 6, and 800 mil primes. Will we see 300, 500 mils? That's a good question. I also would add 200 f2 into the mix. That would be cool. Let's see. Some very technical things like Gray Crack says transition glass for lenses, just like reading glasses to counteract the need for UV polarized filters. Okay, interesting. So John Hughes says, I do have more than one system. Each camera is a tool, and some tools do just better than others. I love Nikon and Hasselblad. Which one is better? Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing. For me, it's a Nikon and GFX system, but I do like my rangefinders, But again, you go to film, I got my beautiful FM3A, I've got my Miami M7, I got my Leica M4P, like those are the cameras to be taken on different journeys, like on different trips, I would say, For something more casual, I'll get my FM3A. For something I would want to shoot medium format is M7. For street, I prefer Leica, so that's the thing. But that's the thing, it's good to be able to be in such position. That's the thing. Yeah, for a lot of people, especially who are starting, it will take a few years to get there. That's the thing. But yeah, like let's say, speaking of Nikon system, for me, let's say if GFX is more of a studio kind of, still life photography camera, then Nikon for me is action people, so events, weddings, anything to do with people and fast movements and things like this. Also could be portraiture, but let's say, ballerinas, sportsmen, things like this, where you have to record kind of action type shots, that Nikon autofocus system is cutting edge, so that's what it is. Rick is asking, if you could pick between the two cameras, what are your two favorite lens choices for my Mi S7? To be honest with you, I've got three lenses. I've got 80 mil, which is 40 basically. I've got 43 mil, and I've got 150. So 43 is equivalent of 21 or 22, and the 150 is equivalent of 75, so it's a portrait lens. So I got three. I don't have 65. 99% of the time I shoot with 80, which is 40 mil. I take 43 with me quite often. Very rarely I shoot with it. That's the thing. It's just not my type of photography, ultra wide angle side of things, but it is a very sharp and very capable lens. Now, 150, it can be had very inexpensively with my Mi S7. I have both rangefinder attachments, eyepieces for 43 and 150, but it's very difficult to focus 150 because when you look through rangefinder path, the frame is actually quite small. So that's the thing. So overall, 40 is probably my number one choice. Second place is being used about 1-2% of all the times. That's the thing. That's how different the gap is. But 80 is great. If you like slightly wider viewing angle, 65 is also considered to be one of those legendary lenses. Can't go wrong with them, really. Very sharp lenses for this type of things. All right, let's go next. Let's see if we can find more questions and more recommendations. So Philly Blizzard also says 24 to 122.8 would be nice. Okay, let's see if Nikon's going to release one. Again, seems to me that there's going to be quite a chunky lens. The Tamron has 35 to 150 2.8, I think, or f2 for Nikon Z mounts. It is a beast. It's quite quite heavy. All right, let's see. I don't understand other languages, so I can tell you that. David's asking, was there two versions of 43 to 85? Oh, you put me on the spot here. I'll find out for next week. I think it was one, but I could be wrong on this one. I just got one because it came to my, it came into my hands for free. I was given this lens and I took it, and it's great. So whatever that version is, I'm not quite sure. But I'll have a look. Definitely will have a look. All right, let's see. I think, well, we are at 17 past 3, so we're going to be wrapping up. That's for sure. Sydney Schultz says 152.5, uses 6969. Again, legendary lens, you definitely should try. And his favorite is 24 to 120 lens. Leica 90 Summicron. Okay, gotta try this one. Haven't tried that one. Tried Leica the King of Bokeh, with the 35 f2, whichever version. I think is Gen 4. Dreamy lens, interesting. Don't think it's worth the money, but I think that's what the Voigtlander 3514 is trying to replicate. It's not as good, but it kind of gives you this kind of glowy, dreamy look for that. So let's see. Rangefinders were not designed for telephoto lenses, exactly. Yes, so there's got those limitations. Let me see if I can translate that language. I right-clicked it, and I don't see translate the message in my... I've got a different view from you guys. I have kind of admin view, and unfortunately, I can't translate this message. So, yeah, I can't do that, I'm afraid. So I would love to, but I can't. Okay. Again, another vote for 10 to 20 for Z mount. I think 10 to 20 for Z mount is the winner here. So I think kind of the chat here agreed to that 10 to 20 zoom is the one that Nikon should release next. Okay, so let's agree on that. And the next one, there's definitely quite a few things there. So from 24 to 120 2.8 to long telephotos, yada yada yada. Raimon Nurni says, I bought Nikon 24 to 120 f4 and 85 1.8 yesterday for my Z7 II, and I'm so happy. Congratulations, Raimon. Those are fantastic lenses and a fantastic camera. So again, great dynamic range. Again, I think the best dynamic range actually among all 45 megapixels on that one. Yeah, TCM says King of Bokeh is the least appropriate nickname ever. Yeah, I agree. I was all, kind of like, ooh, King of Bokeh, let's try it. It's not worth the fuss. They're better lenses in Leica lineup. That's the thing. I can tell you that. But yeah, I mean, good if you got one and you want to sell one at inflated price, Thank you very much, Ian. I appreciate it. Let's see. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, we are wrapping up. We can definitely talk a lot about Leica lenses, but I don't have experience with Leica lenses. I literally had King of Bokeh and then 50 f2. Whichever generation it is. Those are two lenses I've tried that are Leica for Leica. The rest, my experience with Voigtlanders, and I love them. I just love them. Beautiful, compact. I'm on pre-order list for 50mm f2.2 for Leica mount of Voigtlander. That's just been, I think, released last week. Again, I just love how small and compact those things are. Again, if you're traveling, that's the beauty of it. You can have like two lenses like this in your pocket, or lenses like this, and you can swap them over, and not worry about carrying a bunch of, heavy stuff in your backpack. When I travel, I don't need to carry my whole photography setup. I'm way past it. I went to China 13 years ago, and I had my G700, 28-72.8, 70-200 2.8, and 18-35 lens on a shoulder bag, not even a backpack. Summertime, 35 plus degrees weather. Never again. That's the thing. Everyone is different, though. You know, that's the thing. But I do like kind of travel small and light. That's the thing. I'd rather get medium format camera, let's say, and a film camera with me than carrying, let's say, 5 lenses and one big camera. You know, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. But again, no judgment here. All right. Okay, guys. Well, thanks so much. I think it's been a pleasure again to see you all. We have the sound. We are not buffering. Incredible day today. So hopefully all other live streams will bring us peace and joy. But in the meantime, grab your camera, go take some pictures. The weather is nice, hopefully, where you are. And let's talk less about specifications and technical stuff and take more pictures and share them with each other. That's my message to you. I'm going to go and watch Bob Ross after that one. So just going to be my coming Friday for the end of this week. Thanks so much, everyone. I appreciate you all. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next week at the same time on Friday live stream. All the best, guys. Bye-bye.